So I know you've been listening, you've been getting all the information, and now you're ready to try CBD, but you're really not sure where to start or how to choose what you need to try. Today's episode is going to help you to figure all that out. Let's go. What's up, my friend? Welcome to the CBD and You podcast. And yes, you means you, and I believe you are here for a reason. I'm Lori, a Christian, a wife, a mama, and a midwife. And to put a little icing on the cake, my husband and I own a hemp farm in Tennessee. Girlfriend, I see it in your eyes and I feel it in the messages you send me. You are tired of waking up every day exhausted with aches and pains that you really thought you were too young for. And with all the stress and anxiety of the day, you're over it. Are you starting to wonder if this is really all life is? I hear you, and you are not alone. God did not design us to just survive. He designed us to thrive. So if you're ready to embrace this beautiful life God has given you by discovering some of His best gifts for His children, rewarm that coffee you forgot about in the microwave, and let's take a minute to pour back into you with a quick chat and some me time. Let's go. It's finally time. It's time to give it a try. You've listened to the episodes I've recorded so far. You've learned so much. You're starting to feel a little bit more confidence, ready to give it a try, but you're still not quite sure where to start. So today, I'm going to help you. I know it can feel overwhelming to finally take that jump and make your decision. I know. I didn't know anything about CBD, guys. Nothing when we started this. So I remember what you're feeling, and it really wasn't that long ago, like 4 years. I knew just as much as most people, which is not much. But today I know so much more. I was slowly eased along the path as we grew our business, so I've learned slowly. And I'm going to help you learn a little more quickly so you can go ahead and get started and stop wasting time, right? Today I'm going to give you 4 points to consider as you decide where to start with CBD. It'll still probably leave you with some decisions for yourself to make. I'm not going to just put it in your hand to where you know, okay, well, I should click this and this and this. You're going to have to decide for yourself what's going to fit your circumstances. But I'm going to go through those circumstances with you to help you make the right choice. So as we look at the 4 things that we're going to consider and think about when we get started with CBD, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to think about what you're using it for. This point's going to be a little bit of a recap of episode 13. In that episode, we walked more in depth about the topicals versus the drops. So if you want to learn even more about that, be sure you go back and listen to episode 13. But just a quick overview, you need to think about what the problem is that you're hoping to find relief with or find relief for by using CBD. That's hard to get your prepositions right. You need to think about where the problem source is from. So if your problem that you're hoping to get help with is anxiety or sleep, both of those situations stem from the brain. And obviously, you've got a skull and lots of things to get through. So the only way that you're going to be able to address anxiety and sleep effectively is through an internal route, which is through using our CBD drops, the CBD oil drops. And those drops you put under your tongue, and then you, after about half a minute, you swallow them with water. So anxiety and sleep, you want to go internal. Some pain, you're going to want to go internal for the drops. So think about where your pain is. If it's something that's deep, meaning it's not close to the surface, you're definitely going to want to go internal. If you have pain in more than one place or in several places, you're going to want to go internal. And here's why. Yes, you can use the salve in more than one place, but eventually you can't just walk around as one big ball of salve, right? And you can use bath salts, but that's a temporary fix for relaxing at the end of the day. It's not going to be something that's going to carry you through an entire day since you can't just sit in the bathtub all the time, right? So for pain in lots of spots, the drops just make more sense because it's going to cover all of them without having to rub the salve or the roll-ons or anything all over. All right. So for deep pain and multiple locations of pain, go internal. For pain that might be close to the surface, like maybe some achy joints from typing or maybe a little bit of carpal tunnel, problems in your shoulders, foot pain at the end of the day, the salve or any of the externals can really help with that. So you just kind of have to think about where that pain is coming from. Same goes for inflammation. Using topical CBD can help with inflammation that's around your joints that are close to the surface. But if your inflammation is an internal, a deeper problem, then the drops are going to be what you need because you need to be able to reach the source of that inflammation. All right, hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, again, go back and check out episode 13, or you can always shoot me a message at info@alararidgefarm.com. That's ALARA ridgefarm.com. Second thing to consider, you want to think about the severity of your situation. Are you dealing with severe anxiety or just mild situational type of anxiety? Are you dealing with deep chronic pain you're having trouble touching it even with some other drugs maybe? Or are we dealing with something that's just a small injury or maybe just kind of a mild irritation but not really that debilitating pain? The range for your dosage for how much you're going to want to take does depend on your body size and type, but it also depends on the severity. So if you are needing something that's a little bit stronger, when we get down to thinking about the milligrams and the value, you're going to want to look at the higher numbers. If you're needing something that's maybe a little bit more mild, it's really not that bad, on the lower numbers. So we've thought about what we're using it for, how bad what we're using it for is. Now let's think about any meds you're taking. You're going to always want to talk to your provider and make sure that your medications that you're on don't interact with CBD. There are a few that do, most do not, but you do need to do some research to make sure. You can just go to a search engine and say blank and CBD interactions, and you should be able to get some good information. Or, as I said, talk to your doctor or nurse practitioner, whoever your provider is, to make sure that you're not going to put yourself in any kind of dangerous situations. So we've thought about what we're using it for, how bad that is, any medications we're on, and now we're going to think about value. So the numbers on the front of the bottle that you see on CBD is how many milligrams are in the entire bottle. I went over this in quite some detail back in episode 12, where we talked about, do you understand what's in your bottle? So be sure to go back and listen to that for a little bit more detail because I'm going to kind of skim over this a little faster. What I want to talk about today is looking at the bang for your buck, if you will. So you can adjust any concentration of CBD to any dosage. If you've got a 20 milligram dosage for a 1,000 milligram bottle, you just end up taking more drops than you would if you had a 1,500 or 2,000 milligram. You can adjust them up and down by the drop to make sure you get the exact dosage. So really, honestly, it doesn't really matter all that much what the number is on the front. You just want to get a bottle that's going to stretch for usually at least a month. All right. So if you get a 1,000 milligram bottle, each one of the milligrams in that bottle costs 4.8 cents. If you get a 1,500 milligram bottle, each milligram costs 4.2 cents. 2,000 milligram bottle is 3.7 cents. And then our largest size, the 3,000 milligram bottle, which is really the same strength as the 1,500 milligram because 1,500 milligrams is in 1 ounce. The 3,000 is in 2 ounces. So it's basically just 2 bottles of that 1,500, but it's 3.2 cents per milligram. So a full penny less. And that doesn't sound like that much until you look at how many milligrams. You've got 1,000 milligrams. So that makes a big difference. So the best bang for your buck out of our value is the 3,000 milligrams in the 2 ounces. But obviously, it does cost more overall. It's just less per milligram. So you have to think about your budget, what you have to spend, and whether you want to spend a little bit more to get a higher amount inside of the bottle, or do you want to spend less and get a little bit lower amount in the bottle? So you can do the math and decide what works for you. We also have something new to offer. If you are someone who uses CBD regularly, we're going to be offering a subscription program, and we can get you set up with that over email. You can just shoot me an email at info@alararidgefarm.com and tell me what size bottle you want, how often you want it, and you will actually get a 10% off or 10% off of all of your orders when you subscribe. So that's another way to take a little bit off, to shave a little bit off of that value, or not the value's still there, to shave a little bit off of the price. So those are things to think about because obviously we're all living on a budget. So we got to think about how that's going to fit in. So think about what you're using it for. Think about how bad what you're dealing with is. think about if there's any interaction with meds you're already taking, and then think about the value. Those are your 4 points that you want to consider as you start to give CBD a try. Now, if you're convinced and you're ready and the information you've learned today has gotten you to where you're like, okay, I know what I need, I'm going to go give it a try. We do still have that special going with the CBD and You promo code that will get you 20% off your entire order, no matter what you decide to try. You can either go to bit.ly/CBDYOU show. So CBD and You show all spelled out. And that should automatically put your promo code in your cart. If it doesn't, make sure you check before you click to pay. If it doesn't, just type CBD YOU in the promo code box before you check out, and it will take 20% off of your entire order. But that is just for a limited time. I'm not sure when we're going to go over the threshold. I forgot to check before we did the show to see how many of those we have left. I know we've had several people take advantage of that, and I hope that you'll be the next one because it's going to be gone soon. So you want to make sure you don't miss it. Again, that's bit.ly/CBD and You show, all spelled out. Okay. I hope that's helped you a lot today. If you do still have questions, I hope you'll shoot me a quick email over at info@alararidgefarm.com, and I will see you right back here next week. Whoa, wait, stop. I need your help. Before you take off, if this podcast has blessed you in any way, or if you learned something, could you take 1 minute and leave me a written review over on Apple Podcasts? That's the absolute best way you can thank me. I love hearing how what I've learned on my journey has helped you on yours. Remember that the word says every good gift and every perfect gift is from above. CBD is one of them, but there are so many more. Cling to him and you will never go wrong. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you back here in a few days.